Professor Vikramjit Boshu from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Dr. Boshu is currently a professor at the Indian Institute of Science. He earned his PhD in the area of engineering ceramics at KU New in March 2001. Following a brief postdoctoral stint at University of California, he served as a faculty in material science and engineering at IIT Kanpur and moved to IISc in May 2011. He received the Government of India's most coveted Science and Technology Award, the Shanti Soren Bhatnagar Award, in the year 2013 for his significant contributions in the field of biomaterial science. He is the recipient of the Richard Brooke Award from the European Civil. He is currently. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute to have with us Professor Vikramjit Boshu from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Dr. Boshu is currently a professor at the Indian Institute of Science.
I think, Dr. Ekta, that it is repeating, so you can stop now.
In March 2001, following a brief postdoctoral.
Hello, Dr. Ekta. It is repeating. It is getting repeated, so you can stop now. We can go forward. Yeah.
Sorry about that. So we can begin with your session. So you can share your screen.
Is the screen visible? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So good afternoon, everybody. As current president of the Society for Biometrics and Artificial Organs India, I'll spend 15 minutes just to show you the vision of our society, which is currently celebrating Coral Jubilee year, 35 years of existence, as well as the current activities and what are the future plans for the societies. Can I request all of you to put your mic in mute?
I request everyone to please mute their mic as our speaker is going to start now.
Can you
kindly
can
mute
you
your mic,
mute?
please.
Can you mute as organizer? Can you mute, Dr. Ekta? Yeah. Yeah. So this Society for Biometrics and Artificial Organs was established in 1986 by Dr. Chandra P. Sharma, who was the scientist at the Biosurface Science Technology Division at Suchitra Institute of Medical Science and Technology. And this was essential. This society was serving as a very useful platform for many active researchers in the field of biomaterial science, implants, biomedical engineering, and so on, to for very closer interaction, as well as to meet, but to have discussions, and many times those discussions and interactions have led to many collaborative proposals. So the society has some of the very important members like Professor M.S. Valiathan, who is the inventor of the Chitra heart valve and which is commercialized by TTK Healthcare. Dr. Sujay Guha is also one of our very distinguished members. Society for Biometrics and Artificial Organs currently works at the forefront of biometrical science and technology. And as I said a few minutes ago, that it provides an interdisciplinary platform to stimulate innovation and translation of biomaterials, implants, and biomedical devices. So as president of the society, my vision is to make SBO a more useful platform to biometrics professionals and more to the young researchers, to establish stronger linkages with key stakeholders and industry professionals and clinicians, to enhance the global outreach of the society, particularly to nurture biometrics activities in South Asian countries like Nepal, Sri Lanka, and many other countries, and to liaise with international societies, for example, Society for Biomaterials, as well as Society for European Society for Biomaterials and leading institutes, and to promote diversity and inclusiveness in all the society activities. So this is the current executive committee, and we are also currently thinking of making it a more executive council. We are trying to transform the names, to make it more executive council to include more members in the functioning of the SBI. SBI currently has 946 life members, and this, as you see, that out of that, majority of them from India, but we also have foreign life members as well, and some awardees who, by virtue of getting SBI awards, they become automatically elevated as the life member of the society. SBI has quite good link with College of Biomedical Engineering, Kathmandu, Nepal, and currently is in the process of establishing more closer ties with University of Colombo, Sri Lanka. We fondly remember the very untimely and sad demise of Professor Rinti Banerjee, who has been deeply involved in the Society for Biometrics and Artificial Organs activities. She was a fellow, elected fellow of our society, as well as all of you know, she was the elected fellow of Indian Academy of Science, Bangalore, and National Academy of Sciences, India. And we have also mentioned very untimely and sad demise of Professor Banerjee on the SBI newsletter very recently. Now, as I said in the beginning, that SBI works at the forefront to establish a strong platform to inculcate the culture of innovation and translation in the larger biometrics community. So as many of you are the young students in this particular forum, it is useful information for all of you to see that entire landscape of these biometrics and implants. And as you notice here, there are various groups both from north, east, south, and west they are working. And but at the same time, you must notice that there are many other institutes of national importance, like Sri Chaitanya Institute of Medical Science and Technology. They have done some of the pioneering research in the field of biomaterials and devices. At the same time, you also notice that various CSIR labs like CSIR CGCRI is one among them, who has done some of the very interesting work in the translational research in the field of biometrics and implants. Over the years, we have established closer interactions with many medical institutions in the country, and they are helping the biometrics researchers in India in terms of collaborating with academic clinical studies or pilot clinical studies. And among them, some of the notable among them are AIIMS New Delhi, AIIMS Rishikesh, AIIMS Bhopal, Fortis Memorial Research Institute, King's George Medical University, Lucknow, and so on. Now, companies, they play a most important role in terms of taking the biometrics and implants to the market. And therefore, biometrics scientists in India, they have transferred the technologies to many companies based in India, like TTK Healthcare, then Ant Ceramics, Tata Steel New Materials business. They have established a new business vertical called Medical Materials and Devices in 2017, and they are currently actively commercializing many of the biometrical products in India first, and then subsequently globally, many of the materials which are produced in India. In terms of medical devices, some of the startup like Bitcar Innovations, Pune, and MS Systems Private Limited, that is based in Bangalore, Avai Biosciences, they also are some of the well-known startups in the field. In the orthopedic and dental implants particularly, Orco Medical Devices Private Limited based in Hyderabad, Bayer Medicis that is based in Pune, and Orthotech Private Limited that is based in Gujarat in Valsad. They are also commercializing many of the indigenous implants to the global market. And some of the newly initiated interactions, particularly with Sri Chitra and CSI CGCRI Kolkata and CSI NML Jamshedpur, are also mentioned. Among them, some of the orthopedic implant companies like Sarjiware, that's based in Uttar Pradesh, and also UCare Pharmaceuticals Private Limited, that is based in Chennai. They have transferred the technology from CSI NML Jamshedpur, and they are commercializing and they are producing materials and implants currently. Now, in terms of the research publications and books, as you see that many of the Indian biometrical scientists are serving on the editorial board. For example, Professor Rinti Banerjee was serving as associate editor of ACS Biometrical Science and Engineering for quite a few years. And also Indian biometrical scientists are currently serving on the editorial board of Biomaterials, Acta Biomateria, and many other journals. Stanford University's ranking for the top 2% scientists from world also include many scientists from India. And in the biomedical engineering, Chandra P. Sharma ranked 341 in the year 2020, according to such ranking. So these are some of the numbers and statistics of the biomaterial scientists, that how they are publishing. And for example, in last 20 years, at least 1,600 papers were published by Indian biomaterial scientists, and what is their H index and average citations, and so on. At this moment, I would like to mention that Professor Sujay K. Guha received Padma Shri, one of the fourth highest civilian award for his work in the field of biomedical engineering, and he has already delivered a lecture in this particular conference. And she has received this award from the President of India. Shanti Sharaf Bhatnagar Award was given to Professor Rohit Srivastava in 2021, who is also elected as a fellow of INE, and Kantesh Palani, who is another important member of our society, got elected to 2 of the National Academy in India, as well as American Society for Metals in United States. So in order to put some of the best practices in the Society for Biomaterials and Artificial Organs, I have formed several committees after I took over as president of the society. One of these committees is the President's Advisory Committee, and that consisted of the founder president as well as some of the past presidents to advise the current president and future presidents on several norms and provide useful guidelines. Then there is a Global Outreach Committee. The role of this committee essentially is to promote linkages with the biomaterials community in South Asia, and as well as with other international biomaterial societies. Current chair of this committee is Dr. V.P. Srivastava from Nepal, and other members are Lakshmi from Connecticut, Ipshita from University of Sheffield, Kaushik from ISC Bangalore, Geeta from VIT, and Sridhar. Then there is a SBI website committee. Several members are currently working in this, and then we have SBI Finance Committee. So in all this committee, we always follow diversity and inclusiveness in forming these kind of committees. Then comes President's Council of Student Advisors, which according to me should play an important role, not only now, but also in the years to come. What I have done, I have put some of the very young, enthusiastic PhD students from ISC, as well as several other IITs like IIT Delhi, IIT Kanpur, VIT Vellore, and Sri Chitra Trivandrum Institute of Medical Science and Technology, Trivandrum. Then we have this Industrial Affairs Committee, Dr. Arvind Sinha, who is about to retire from CSR NML Jamshedpur. He is the convener of this committee. And we have some young researchers from CSR CGCR Kolkata, as well as Tata Steel Jamshedpur. They are the member of this particular committee. We have the Education and Publications Committee. Ashok Kumar is currently the chair of this committee. We have few members from IIT Bombay, as well as IIT DM Jabalpur and IIT Varanasi in this particular committee. We have this Program Advisory Committee. Sridhar, Vice President, is currently chair of this committee. And we have members of this committee as from Guwahati, Anna University, as well as IIT Roorkee. So in my recent book published by INSA, I have sketched a few set of recommendations to enhance this translational ecosystem, and some of them are mentioned here. And I strongly believe that SBI is going to play more important roles in implementing or in guiding the policymakers to implement many of these recommendations in the years to come. And one of the main things that many of these professional societies, they do, and that way they encourage more members, is to recognize the talents, recognize some of the important members in the society who are making important contributions to that field. And to that extent, SBI has currently 3 awards which are mentioned in that. But what I have done, I have instituted another award called SBI Distinguished Biomaterial Scientist Award, and this is for people who are actively working in India and who is little senior, like more than 40 years of and on. This award will be these nominations for this award will be there from July 1st, 2022. And some of the other new initiatives which would be implemented very soon, that is special interest groups like Ideas to Clinics, and also to discuss values of death, And these values of death are particularly relevant when you do translational research, which is also very close to the heart of Professor Rinti Banerjee. So there are special interest groups to discuss emerging causes of biomaterial science. Some of the things that I have mentioned in today's earlier lecture, it is biomaterialomics, bioelectronic medicine, regenerative engineering. This is something that we would like to discuss more and more so that many young researchers can participate and they can develop more insights, or they can contribute to develop more insights into some of these emerging topics. I just give an example that how we conduct our national meetings. Like, for example, for the last conference, Biotem 2021, we have invited several keynote speakers, and you can see that there is a very nice balance between speakers from India and speakers from abroad, and at least there is a 50-50 kind of ratio roughly. We also involve many speakers from industry and clinicians in all our national meetings. And this particular conference had two pre-conference workshops, one on bioelectronic medicine, where some of the leading researchers like John Rogers from Northwestern, Kimiro Imashita from Japan, they delivered talks, and there is also some of the young researchers who gave talks in these. And there is another pre-conference workshop, was 3D graphy workshop on 3D bioprinting for hard and soft tissues. So with this conference and also these workshops, we believe we are essentially encouraging more young researchers in some of the frontier areas of research in the field of biomaterials. In a much lower scale, we also organize several other outreach events and also some of the initiative. For example, this was the National Conclave on Translational Research for Cranioplastician Treatment, where I brought together some of the neurosurgeons, active neurosurgeons from different hospitals, and also some young researchers and one startup company in the field of 3D printing. So I'm very happy to announce here that some of the younger colleagues are taking much more important role in organizing some international symposium. The first one was at January 30-31st, and that was on International Symposium on Emerging Materials, what they call EMB 2022, which was organized by Himanshu Shekhar Nanda and his team at IIITDM Jabalpur. And this is one of the aim that, we want to popularize biomaterials and implants. We want to encourage young researchers in many less endowed institutions or the institutions where biomaterials may not be a major focus in last 10 or 20 years or so. Another important thing I must mention at this slide, that we would like to engage more with the national academies. And in my efforts to reach out to the national academies, I was happy that Dr. Chandrima Saha, President Indian National Science Academy, was a guest of honor in our international symposium. And with that, we would like to further enhance our engagement with the national academies in India. The second one was done by Professor Balakumar from University of Madras, Chennai. And here we invited Professor Sandeep Bharma, who is the secretary of DST-SCRB, Science, Engineering and Research Board, and he was the chief guest in our inauguration of this biomaterial online conclave. This, I would say, it's one of the very massive efforts by Professor Balakumar. As you can see in terms of numbers, it was 8 days conclave. There's 8 different symposia, and these different symposia was not only on fundamental research, but also more application and also involved industry and some of the policy institutes and so on. For example, challenges and opportunities in biomaterials industries, you can see Dr. Jitendra Sharma, who was there, who is the currently MD and CEO of Andhra Pradesh MedTech Zone in Visakhapatnam. So, and there is 1,000+ registered participants who I believe were immensely benefited from the deliberations of this biomaterials online conclave. And this was kind of a more snapshot of this particular conclave. And you can see there is also poster presentation and there is appreciation hours, which definitely have encouraged many of the young colleagues. And this is like more like an event snapshot of this particular thing. So with this, I conclude, and then my brief presentation on the society and what I believe, and I would like to take it forward in my presidency, is to expand Sbao membership base, to develop new programs and activities to meet the needs of industrial and clinical translation, and to inculcate the culture of inclusion of international membership, to enhance content, products, and educational programs to meet the needs of the members better, and also to recognize the contribution made by young researchers and biometric scientists. We would invite all of you, if you are not members of the society, to become members and get benefited from many of these new and existing initiatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Basu. That was very informative, and we came to know about a lot of contributions and a lot of achievements that the Society for Biomaterials and Artificial Organs has achieved. Now, I'd like to ask the audience to ask any questions if they have any doubts or anything from Professor Basu. You can raise hands. If anybody has a question or a
Uh,
query,
and what
please raise your hands and then unmute yourself and then go ahead and ask the questions. Okay, so Datasha Kantharia, do you have a question? Okay, so it seems we do not have questions from the audience, sir. And I do have a question. So, do we have any upcoming event by the Society for Biomaterials or Artificial Organs in
Yeah, sure.
2022?
So December we are organizing a major conference in IIT Guwahati. I think Dr. Biman Mondal, Professor Biman Mondal is
Okay,
is the convener of this conference, and
okay,
that will be also SBI Star Me joint conference, and that will be a good one. And there is one upcoming conference, means there is one in by Periyar University, I think April 21st, if I'm not mistaken. So there is a lot more things are coming up, that it is, you please look at that biomaterials.org.in.
okay.
So that is you can see that lot more details of these conferences.
Okay. I think a lot of students have joined us, so maybe you can just say a few things to them, like whatever opportunities do they have, like PhD students and postdocs who are like early in their careers for.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what I want to mention, that we would like to see that how our website becomes more and more useful in terms of kind of getting the contacts of somebody is seeking for postdoctoral researcher or some job opportunities in industry, or some industry contacts or national labs contact, those kind of things. So that's why I was saying that we have the President's Council of Student Advisors. We want to make it much more useful for the young researchers.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you so much for joining us, everyone. And thank you, Professor Basu, for giving us your lecture also at 11 o'clock and at 10:15, and also giving us insights about the SBAY's achievements and the contributions. So we'd like to end the session here, and I'd like to request all of you. Very important information is there that from 2 o'clock we have the RB Memorial live event at VMCC IT Bombay, and which will be in hybrid mode. So you are requested to join us there. We'll have the release of the official documentary, which is a biography made on MAM, called as Rinty, and it will be released, and we'll have other dignitaries and alumni, everyone speaking about her. So I request everyone to join us at VMCC IT Bombay and join us online for the event. We look forward to all of you to join us and help us to make this session successful. Thank you, Professor Basu. Thank you, everyone. We'd like to end the session here. To everyone who is still in the meeting, I'd like to inform that this is the same link that is going to be active for the rest of the session. For the hybrid session also, we have the same link. So please do remain connected. Thank you so much.